Hey guys, Mike here. So growth stocks have been on fire, right? And a lot of people have been asking me in the Discord, in the membership, hey, can you give us some updates on a bunch of these stocks? And so I was actually researching it, gonna start coming up with new stuff about these stocks and everything that was requested. And then I'm looking at the charts, I noticed something just lined up for almost every stock. And I said, wait a minute. And so it kind of diverted into, I don't need to start doing news clippings because it isn't the news that's been driving these growth stocks up, right? And so I'm going to show you the magical date of which all these growth stocks started taking off, right? And then what caused it, and more importantly, are institutions about to pull the rug out from underneath us, and why did they start piling into these stocks all of a sudden? Like, what happened? Was there a rotation? All right, and so that's what we're going to go into. And if you allow me to get on my soapbox just for a minute, okay? I've never done this before, but I'm gonna do it now. So put out a video last night, ruffled a few feathers, figured I would. And I noticed in the comments, people kept calling me a hick, right? It happened multiple times. You know me, I got thick skin. I never comment on anything that anybody's put down there. But it got me to thinking. I said, my wife asked me about it. And I said, And I started thinking, I don't think these people know what that word even means, right? I think they don't. And so, you understand, if you don't know what the word hick means, it means somebody, usually refers to somebody who lives in a small town or the country and is either ignorant or uneducated. At least you deem them to be that, okay? Not that they are. And so, like for me, for example, I never lived in the country. I was raised in a small town though, even though the majority of my life I've lived in a city where I live now, and worked my butt off to get 3 degrees and all this stuff. So I'm definitely uneducated or ignorant. And so I don't really fall under that, description, I guess you could say. But I'll say this to the people who said that, and you know who you are, by the way, and I say this kindly because I want to educate you for a second. Because you are running around, obviously, throwing around a word that you don't even know what it means. And I don't want you running around sounding ignorant yourself, okay? So I want to help you out here. And understand very clearly, people who you obviously deem, because I have an accent, to be a hick are some of the best people I know. I'm related to some of those people, as a matter of fact. My wife's related to them. You know what else about those people who are in those small towns or in the country, as you like to say, and have those thick accents? Because trust me, you think mine's thick? If you ever hear them talk, you say, wow. But you know what? They're some of the most successful people I've ever known. They got plenty of zeros and commas in those bank accounts and investment accounts to push around and stuff like that, okay? And just because they don't choose to wear, $10,000 Rolex watches, Gucci loafers, drive a BMW or something, instead they like to wear blue jeans and work boots or cowboy boots or, drive a pickup. Doesn't make them a hick, and truth is, if you call them a hick, they'd probably be proud to say, yeah, okay, fine. I'm a successful hick. How about that? But you know what else they got in them? They got great family values, and you know what else they like to do with that money in those accounts? They like to pass it on and set up the next generation. They like to pass on that family business. It's very big to them. That's why people stay in small towns for generations on end, because usually they're pretty tight-knit, okay? And so all I'm saying, I just want to do my civil duty here and say, at least understand the word you are using, what it means, okay? And I just don't want you to walk around looking ignorant or sounding ignorant. That's all. That's really the big thing, okay? Because trust me, it doesn't bother me that you call me that. Matter of fact, I'm proud if that's what you think, okay? And so just want to put that out there again. Never done it, but I thought I need to do my civil duty and try to help these people out, because they're just obviously running around slinging this word out and God knows what other words, and they don't even know what they mean. So it's pretty important to understand the words you're using. And so thank you for letting me do that. Now I'll step off my soapbox and we'll go ahead and get right into why these growth stocks are all of a sudden waking up. And by the way, I'm happy about this. It makes my accounts look much better. I'm sure you're enjoying it too. So let's go ahead and get right into it, okay? And so guys, look right here. I got a bunch of these lined up for us, right? STEM, NEO, XPing, Palantir, Microvision. All these are growth stocks, high growth stocks actually. And so you just look right here, the date, the magical date, May 13th. Every one of them, look at the chart, every one of them take off. Then we come over, let's go over to Nano Dimensions. I accidentally put Palantir twice. SoFi, Proterra, Bionanogenomics. Look what happened, the 13th. They all take off the same date, right? They're all declined till the 13th. We look over here, the meme stocks, which aren't growth stocks, of course, but God knows they look like it the way they're moving. But look what happened. all of a sudden 12th and 13th start to rise, boom, right? So they're dead and flatline until you hit the 12th and 13th, and there they go, starting to take off, right? You look over here at Kathy Woods and all her Ark investments, and I even threw Drive in there, which holds all the FANG stocks, EV stocks, semiconductor stocks. And so, you know, you see they take off, boom, 13 hits, see you later, like a rocket ship. And so, of course, the big question is, what happened on May 13th, or really May 12th leading into May 13th, to all of a sudden, these stocks come alive for us after we watched them get beat down for almost 4 months, for crying out loud, right? And so I started digging. I thought, okay, is this a rotation? Because this is institutions, right? We're also buying, but this is institution, right? The institutional buying is pushing all of these stocks up, okay? And they're going up big time, 10, 20, 30, some of them 40%, right, in a matter of 3 weeks. So what got the institutions to start buying into this? Of course, I mean, I assume we were buying into to try to help it. But, you know, so I started looking for rotation. I said, okay, are the financials going down? Not really. Okay, commodity prices went down. Let me look at those ETFs, so they hold all these things. They went down slightly. You know, one commodity down about 1.5%. I think it was RJA. They hold all the oil and corn and wheat. They're probably down 2, 3, 4% or whatever when I looked at it yesterday. And so maybe that's where some of the money's coming from. I don't see them coming out of retail right now. And so I started looking, I said, oh, but guess what did happen around that time frame? That's right, crypto started to crash on May 11th. And it was a major crash that went down in like 2 weeks. Look how much value it lost, okay? And so all that money had to go somewhere. And so obviously it started going into AMC. It started going into these growth stocks. Had to go somewhere, because just sitting in the bank account is not going to work. You mean losing money doing that, right? That's what at least we're told. Make sure you have an emergency fund, by the way, of course. But you know, that's what I think a lot of people started doing, but also not just us. Institutions started doing it. Swinging that money over, right? Big whales started swinging the money over. That kind of stuff. But what else happened, right? So let's look at what the short volume ratio was doing at that same time frame. And if you look right over there to your right where the arrow is, you can see right here the short volume ratio drops off a cliff right before these growth stocks started to move up. Look at STEM, boom, fell off a cliff, same time frame. Look over here at MVIS, which is Microvision. To the right, big drop, just like all the rest of them. And I looked at many of these charts, and it was basically the same thing happening. And I don't know if you remember me talking about, you know, institutions covering their short positions voluntarily a few weeks ago when these stocks first started to move up, because everybody was talking about short squeezes here and there, and there was a lot of short positions on a lot of these stocks. But I say, you know, I think they're covering voluntarily because they beat these stocks so far down. There's just not much more money to get going down versus money going up. And so if they just cover those positions by the millions of shares, then they can drive the stocks up automatically, right? And so, you know, I think that has a factor to play. I also wonder if, after getting their butts kicked in GameStop and losing all that money, if they saw this coming, if their computers with algorithms like saw this coming, and they said, man, we better start making money somewhere because our short positions can get crushed. And so why not make it just a boatload of money, bring in some cash from the sidelines, and start driving these growth stocks up, because you know how fast they move, right? I mean, look at SoFi, it's up 40% in 3 weeks, right? And so, you know, that's something to think about too. That could also be happening here. You know, but the big thing I'm wondering, and one of the people who subscribe to the channel who watch stuff shared a source with me on this about how to look at dark pools, right? And more frequently instead of having to wait 2 months and stuff like that. So I'm using the free version. There is a subscribe version on this. This is not affiliate or anything, but you know, hopefully this is accurate. But I thought it was neat to be able to look at it, and I'm wondering how much of these trades going through the dark pools they're using to either help drive AMC up, to drive these stocks up. Because remember, if you didn't watch my dark pool video, which I'll put at the end for you, they can reroute certain orders to the dark pools, and they can reroute certain orders out to the market, right? So if you want a stock to go up, what do? You put the buy orders out into the market, you bring the sell orders, put them back in the dark pool, right? And so, and that theoretically is supposed to not affect the stock price as far as going down by doing that route versus putting it out in the market. And so that's what I'm really curious about right now. And so I'll show you what I found here on this site. And if you use this site called Market Chameleon, you know, let me know, because if the paid version is worth it, I'd absolutely pay for a version of this. And if these numbers you feel are accurate, because it's the first time I'm using this, but it just seems like good information to be able to share with people, And so, if you look right here, I'm looking at STEM, right? And so for the day it says, dark pool trades reported for STEM have accounted for 40% of the total volume today. Over the past 20 days, the average dark pool volume has been 52%. Total volume in the dark pool is 576,899 shares. And then if we go on to Palantir, for example, dark pool trades reported for Palantir have accounted for 48% of total volume today. Over the past 20 days, the average dark pool volume has been 47%, and the dark pool volume is around 31.4 million shares. And then just looking at one more NVIS, which we talked about. This is something that swings dramatically on the chart here. Dark pool trades for NVIS accounted for 58% of total volume day. Over the past 20 days, the average pool volume has been 56%. So over half the trades get routed to the dark pools. Total volume in the dark pool is 13.1 million shares because it doesn't have a lot of shares outstanding. That's why it's so volatile. And so another thing to also mention, happened around the same time range, exactly on May 12th actually, was the CPI data, the inflation data came out last month, right? The day before these started to take off, okay? One day after the cryptocurrency market started to crash. And so it could have been a coincidence because the data was actually horrible. It's way worse than what the Fed had even thought it was going to be. Yet somehow institutions decided to start going into growth stocks even after they had told us, oh my God, don't get into growth stocks because if inflation is bad, they're going to raise interest rates. And that's why I'm trying to figure out if this is a head fake or not by them. Just try to, as I mentioned before, make up money on what they're fixing to lose. All this money they're losing on the AMC short positions and things like that. And so, I need to see, are they going to start rerouting or continue probably what they're probably doing, rerouting those sell orders for the growth stocks into the dark pool, putting the buy orders on the open market. That's something I got to look at. But June 10th is a key date here, right? This is what we're talking about, pulling the carpet off underneath, because June 10th is when inflation data comes out again for May. And if that data is worse than what May's report actually said about April, then that's what I'm curious to see how the institutions react. I'm looking at June 8th and 9th to really see like where or what they're going to do leading up to June 10th. Do you see these prices start to dip? Do you see a lot of puts being bought? Short interest skyrocketing on these kind of stocks and stuff like that in the growth area. And so we'll see, because either they're going to pull the rug out underneath us or shake it off and just keep pushing them higher. They got the power to do that. Either way, it's a win-win, I think, for any of us anyway. We like to go higher. I like to see my portfolio go higher. If they try to beat it down again, I'll just buy more shares. Because you can see when these growth stocks start to take off, they take off fast, right? And so, that's what we're looking at. That's what I'm paying attention to. If you haven't watched the dark pool video, make sure you watch it. It's right here, because I think you'll learn a lot in that one and see how this game is played, I guess you could say, by the institutions and how much control they actually have. And so, hopefully you got some out of it. I just want to share what I was finding out there. And so hit the like, subscribe button for me if you got anything out of this. And, I'll end up seeing you tomorrow. But don't forget, if you want to go ahead and buy some crypto, because it's definitely down the toilets right now, don't forget to hit that affiliate link down in the bottom of the description there, where you can earn up to $250 of free Bitcoin just for opening an account with BlockFi, depending on your initial deposit, and more importantly, draw interest on all your cryptocurrencies and get a payment each month for that, which is what I love to do, and apply for their ever popular credit card. I believe I am still number 200,000 on the waiting list right now. And you also take loans out on your cryptocurrencies at a very reasonable rate as well.